Yesterday, the Browns and the Bengals didn't have playoff implications, but history was on the line. Myles Garrett set the single-season sack record, giving the Browns the win over the Bengals. However, not everyone was aware of the moment. Here's Bengals coach Zac Taylor and Jamar Chase after the Bengals L.
There's 5 minutes left in our season. We're playing for our lives here, and I was never told that we're going to stop the game, and in a critical moment like that. And the refs just said that they made a decision that they were going to stop the game. And they said they tried to do it as quickly as possible. I didn't feel that.
I don't think they could do that. I never knew you could let the whole team get on your field. That's like me catching my 10th pass and the whole team running on the field. We can get flagged. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But congrats to him and everything. But they got to call a flag.
I mean, Zac said the refs told him after the fact that they had decided they were going to stop the game, but never informed.
What you mean, stop the game?
Stop the game to let them celebrate the moment.
Well, I hope. Well, they better stop the game when I do something on my back end. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, Jamar. Does Zac Taylor and Jamar Chase have a point, Cam?
No. You're playing for nothing.
Nothing.
The only reason why people are paying attention to this game is to see Myles Garrett break the record. He broke the record. This is a big deal. The Cincinnati Bengals this year has not been no deal at all ever since they were not eligible to make it to the playoffs. Jamar Chase, superstar, right? Zac Taylor, congratulations. You made another year around the horn. But at the same time, it's like, bro, understand, like where's your coup, the decorum of understanding the moment? It doesn't happen often.
I take it as, from Zac's point, it's more about the league than it is about the Browns and what they were doing. That's fine. They actually respect the hell out of Myles Garrett. Every game, 90 minutes before the game, the refs talk to the coaches and say, hey, look, this game, all right, there's this veteran we're going to bring out at about the 30-minute mark, or at this point, hey, the Star Spangled Banner is going to go long. It's on national TV. We're going to use this different football. They give him everything. At no point did the officials say, if and when he breaks this record, we're going to stop and let them do a parade on your home field. So Zac Taylor was more annoyed by that, hey, for 5 minutes, they're allowed to carry this guy off. He's looking at the officials like, what are we doing? It's our ball. We're trying to score here. And the Browns were able to treat this like their own personal parade. It seems petty. I'm with you.
I get it. If you don't like it, don't allow him to get the sack.
Yeah.
Simple and plain.
How about this? Make sure the game's meaningful.
Both fair. That's both valid.
That's why it's legitimate as well. The Cincinnati Bengals have been a joke. All right, without Joe Burrow, they're nothing. And that's a direct indictment against Zac Taylor, who leans on the quarterback too heavily and doesn't coach the rest of the damn team. It's just that simple. Having said all of that, let's also make sure we're not tone deaf, because history matters. And when something historic happens in any sport, that's what you do. Yeah, when LeBron sat up there and eclipsed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, yeah, you know what? It stopped the game and all of this other stuff. And it was in L.A. and Crypto.com.
Drew Brees broke a record in New Orleans.
Even if it were not there, teams would have stopped the game, because when something historic happens, it's celebrating the sport collectively, as I'm talking about. So, Zac Taylor being oblivious to that is no surprise, because on far too many occasions he appears too damn oblivious to too many things. And we know he knows football and stuff like that, which is why I'm so critical of him, because there's no excuse for him to make some of the errors in judgment that he has made, like not protecting his quarterback all of these years, with Joe Burrow missing basically 3 of his 6 seasons. There's a whole bunch of things to point to.
The overall feeling from Zac, and you'll hear it from a lot of coaches, is just an overall exhaustion with the referees and the communication with the referees. You go back to McVay that Thursday night with that 2-point conversion. Right. It takes 2 minutes to get that.
You're right.
And they're just so like, just tell us. Some communication.
Right,
why is there no communication?
You're right, Peter. We just would prefer to hear the complaint from somebody other than Zac Taylor.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think so too. And he's saying we're fighting for our lives here. He was fighting maybe to retain the head.
Well, champ and Pat Costello, if you would.
Number 3.
Myles Garrett breaks Michael Strahan's single-season sack record. The record-breaking sack happened in the final 5.5 minutes of Cleveland's season. Per NFL Next Gen Stats, Garrett crossed the line of scrimmage in 0.23 seconds after the snap, the fastest get-off on any sack during the 2025 season. Garrett led the league in average get-off at 0.7 seconds. What makes his record-breaking season even more impressive was the degree of difficulty in which he accomplished the feat. The Browns finished bottom 7 in time spent leading in games throughout the season, and Garrett was top 5 among edge players in double team rate on pass rush opportunities. Folks, let me tell you something. It's hard to rush the quarterback when opponents are consistently in 4-minute offense at the end of games. And then when they do pass, they start the protection plans with doubling number 95. The fact that he broke the record is telling of his football character. And with 125.5 career sacks, Garrett has the second most by a player in his first 9 seasons in the NFL since sacks became an official stat. Only Reggie White has more sacks through the first 9 years of his career. Reggie White had 137 of them things in his first 9 seasons of the NFL, which is absolute insane. Still, I digress. At minus 20,000 odds, Garrett is on the verge of winning his second Defensive Player of the Year award in the last 3 seasons. This will be his 7th All-Pro nod in 9 years. His productivity through the first decade in the NFL stacks up against anyone else's career on the defensive side of the ball. But can Myles Garrett usurp the other legends to become the greatest defensive player of all time without more postseason success?
I hate that conversation, but it's one we need to have. First of all, shout out to Myles Garrett. He's a remarkable player. It's so fun to watch him play football. I was so pleased to see him get the season record. However, and I know that we are going to hold it in higher regard because of the degree of difficulty in which he achieved it this season, as you just pointed out, Cece. I wish that Myles Garrett played on a team that played meaningful football games. And I know he's the one that put the handcuffs on. He asked for a trade, elected to stay in Cleveland because they gave him a bag. It would be really fun to see him on the postseason stage and see him play football that matters in January and February.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's completely unstoppable. He's the best defensive player in the sport. He is absolutely dominant. For us to sit here and say he's the best defensive player ever, as some have done, is ridiculous. I mean, Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White played in so many big games in their careers. You just can't compare. Now, do I assume if Myles Garrett played in an AFC Championship game that he would be dominant? Yes, I do. Do I assume Myles Garrett will play in an AFC Championship game? No, I do not. And that is his choice. And that's okay. If he loves Cleveland, which I don't know that he does, but if he loves Cleveland and he wants to be with the Browns forever, be my guest. That's awesome. I think they should have had a mutual parting of ways last year. The moment he requested out, they should have taken advantage of that request and traded him for a boatload of picks, and he should have broken that sack record this year for another team en route to the postseason. That's what should have happened. It didn't happen. Doesn't mean he's not awesome, and it doesn't mean he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's it. You agree with everything I said? That bothers you? Go ahead to the next one.
All right, next. The NFL is potentially poaching head coach Lane Kiffin's new LSU staff as he continues to take coaches from Ole Miss during their playoff run. It's wild what's happening. According to our very own Jordan Renan, the New York Giants are considering